So here's the idea. I want to try to create a creepy, eerie world with one rule. Everything has to be made out of cubes. That means no zombies, vampires, creepy dolls, only cubes, and the whole environment can only be made out of cubes. And I know what you're thinking, that sounds pretty lame, there's no way that's gonna be scary. And I thought the same thing too. But I thought, you know what, let's try something different, and the results actually really surprised me. And it surprised a lot of players. I have some great reaction videos I'll show you later on. But first, really quick, where did this weird idea come from? Before Scared by Squares, I spent 4.5 years making a VR game called Bowbots. It's a multiplayer bow and arrow shooter. And unfortunately, I ran out of money to keep self-funding the game. No publishers wanted to take it on because multiplayer only games, especially in VR, are very hard to create a big enough player base. And I wasn't really getting a ton of traction online, so it didn't feel like success was right around the corner. So unfortunately, after 4.5 years on the project, I had to stop. As you can imagine, I was pretty devastated. I loved working on that game, and for it to go nowhere just felt terrible. So I took a couple weeks off of game dev thinking, this is it for good. But that itch to just make something would not go away. So I thought, okay, what is the most simple game I could possibly make, just so I could have a finished game out there? When brainstorming ideas, I thought back to a few months ago where I watched a playthrough of a game called Pools. Now, I don't normally watch full playthroughs, but I was just hooked. Something about those liminal spaces, which is so creepy and eerie, was so fun to watch. And the gameplay was super simple. You're really just walking from point A to point B. It had no story, no enemies, barely any mechanics, just these weird environments, and it worked really well. And I am terrible at coding. My main skill is environments, so this seemed like the perfect genre for me to try out. But I still had to make everything as simple as possible so I can finish it quickly and on my own. That's where the idea of a cube came in, because what's more simple than a cube? If I just use cubes, the environments should be a lot easier to make and optimize. Plus, if the monsters are just cubes, I don't need any complex modeling or animations. Then I thought, what if that's the whole point of the game? I am trying to scare players using the most simple, non-scary thing. So I have my simple idea. But will anyone actually want to play this? I made a quick test room and then I asked the internet, what do you think of this idea? And I was really expecting half the people to kind of mock it, make fun of it, saying it's dumb, and maybe some people say, it's okay. But the response blew me away. For some context, on my last game, if I posted a video, I might get 500, 1,000 views if I'm lucky, and a handful of comments. But my first video got 13,000 views and hundreds of comments from people who love the idea and sending in their own ideas for creepy, eerie rooms only using cubes. And I thought maybe it was a fluke, maybe the algorithm just picked up this video for whatever reason, and so I made another one. And then that one got 22,000 views and still hundreds of comments of people loving the idea. After that, I knew I was onto something. There's something just so fun about trying to make something scary that's so obviously not scary. The challenge really got people's imaginations going. So I got to work right away making this game. Now I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't even sure if I could pull this off. Since this is my second game, that means it's also my first horror game. And it was really hard to tell if I was even doing a good job at first because so much of fear comes from the unknown, and when you're making everything, you know where everything is, and so it doesn't feel scary at all. But when all the pieces came together, it actually was super effective. Let me break down what I did. First, you need a creepy environment, which is my favorite part of the game to make. Now, building the environment cube by cube would take forever, so here's what I did instead. I merged together these group of cubes in different variations, that way I could just connect these together. It'll give the illusion of a bunch of squares everywhere. Then I found a texture that I liked, and in Photoshop I made some edits to make it look as creepy as possible. Now it's time for the lighting, and this is probably the most important part, because good lighting can even make a couch look scary. This is one of the most exciting parts of the game, because when I put the blocks together and set up all the lighting, I don't necessarily know how it's gonna look once the lighting's built, and so it's always fun to see how it all comes together. For instance, I didn't realize how cool this room will look once the lighting was fully built. Here's the before, and here's the after. And this is the room in my game where people really get blown away by the visuals and scale of it. The next thing I added was this particle effect. And yes, the particles are also squares. So now visually, everything seems to be coming together really well, but it's still missing something. It's completely silent right now. So I went to a stock music website and I found the perfect soundtrack. And the mood of this soundtrack just went perfectly with the environment. I was really happy with it. So now we got a really nice creepy environment, but nothing happens. You just kind of walk around and look at stuff, which could be cool, but it's a little unsatisfying. So now it's time to add some scares. Now you would think this would be super simple, just have a block appear out of nowhere, play a loud sound, and call it a day. But it actually takes a lot more work than you would think. You really have to get the movement just right, or it just looks like a boring cube sliding across the screen. Then you have to layer multiple sounds together to really get a cool sounding effect. Now I thought I just needed a few things happening in the first level and that would be good enough, but it turns out it wasn't. I had to put together over 50 animations just for the first level, which took quite a lot of time. But it was well worth the work, and now I have a first level. Now it's time to get into testers' hands and see what they think. Now this was pretty nerve-wracking because you never know how the general public is going to receive your game. It's really hard to tell how good your own game is. Especially since, like I mentioned before, when you're making a horror game, it's not really scary to you because obviously I know where everything is. And so I started getting feedback in some player videos, and while it was positive, I still got a lot of feedback that there wasn't enough jump scares, and it was kind of boring, there wasn't much to do, it was just a walking simulator. Which was my kind of intent at first, was to copy Pool's format where it is a walking simulator, but clearly players wanted something more. So I went to work right away and I added a lot more jump scares, and I added all these challenges to the game, so you weren't just walking around, you actually had to beat sections and solve some puzzles. And that's the beauty of getting feedback from your community, because what I thought should only be a super simple walking simulator was so much more fun to watch and play when I added in the challenges and jump scares.
Oh god, that gets the heart rate going, doesn't it?
We have Scared by Squares, and the concept for this game is quite bizarre, but I absolutely love it. And it's probably the best horror game I played this year, to be honest.
What?
Scared of Squares, terrified. It scared me, and it is, in my opinion, a masterpiece. Like, it's that good. It's very impressive.
Oh my god, that was way more scary than I was expecting. Fun though. Very well produced, very well made. Incredible that you're able to scare the shit out of me with just squares.
After that, the feedback was super positive. No more talk about it being boring, thank goodness. And now I had a really solid framework for how the campaign should work for the game. Now, as promised, I'm going to end this dev vlog showing you some reactions from the first level. If you made it this far, thank you so much for listening to my story. And if you want to try my game, I'm releasing a free demo very soon for Steam Flat Screen and Steam VR, so be sure to wishlist it. But it's out right now in early access on the Meta Quest. I have links for both in the description below. Without further ado, here are the reactions.
This is Scared by Squares.
Ah! What the?
You play in a digital prison made of cubes, and it's terrifying.
Run away from the cube!
How could a simple geometric shape possibly scare you? Oh my god. Okay. Alright.
I ain't scared of no squares, man. I ain't scared of no squares. The squares.
Probably the most unique horror game of all time.
Who makes games like this?
That was awesome. That was really good.
Right, that's embarrassing. I just got wrecked over a dang cube.
I didn't think I'd be this scared of cubes, man. Whoa! Cube! Ah! No!
This was my first dev vlog, and if you want to see more, be sure to like and subscribe. And if you have any ideas for a creepy room that scares people only using cubes, let me know in the comments below, and it just might make it in the game. Bye.